Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
And my name is Tyler. Together we make up Kovray, a couple that loves to play board games.
I'm sinking.
It's not like you're in Quicksand or something. But, you know what we do have that is sort of like Quicksand? A game called Quicksand.
That is Quicksand.
Wow! Quicksand is a real-time cooperative game designed by Hjalmar, Hach, Lorenzo, Silva, and it's published by Horrible Guild.
Now in this game, you'll be trying to defeat the Quicksand by moving quickly and getting all the little timers to the very end of the track. And with that said, let's give you a quick overview of how the game is played. As always, you'll begin by setting up. You'll set up according to the level you wish to tackle. You'll place gear tiles in a semicircle with a diffuse marker and additional tiles at the end, which signify the danger zone. There are 3 types of sand timers: slow, medium, and fast. Based on the level you choose, you'll place sand timers on the first 3 to 5 tiles. You'll shuffle the cards, deal 3 to each player, and you're now ready to start. Your goal in this game is to play cards and move sand timers to the end of the track, at a steady pace of course, so that the sand will continue running. You'll begin by flipping all the sand timers. You'll look at your hand of cards and begin playing. You'll first decide which player should start based on the cards you have. That player will begin the game, and then you'll take turns until you either win by getting all the sand timers past the diffuse marker, or lose by having a lost sand timer run out of sand, or a sand timer run out of sand while in the danger zone. On your turn, you must play a card from your hand. You'll announce the type of card you play, either the color, shape, or if it's a wild, and then activate all the sand timers resting on tiles matching the card. To end your turn, you'll draw a card, replenishing your hand back up to 3. The player on the left will then take their turn. Now, what does activating the sand timers mean? Well, when the color or the shape matches where the sand timers are currently located, you'll flip them over to the next tile. If there's more than one, you'll flip the most advanced sand timer on the Quicksand and proceed backwards. If a sand timer is blocking a path, you won't advance it, but you still must flip it on the spot. Now, if sand timers ever run out and they're not in a danger zone, they become lost. You'll flip them outside of the gear track next to the tile they were previously on. Now at this point, if the sand timer runs out again, the game is lost. However, this is where the wild cards come into play. When playing a wild card, you can flip one sand timer of your choice, or recover a lost sand timer by flipping it and moving it onto the gear tile next to it. Last, but certainly not least, if your cards don't match any tiles, you'll play one and nothing will happen. This is important because you may need to do it quickly so other players can play useful cards in order to get your team to succeed. You'll keep playing until you won by having all the timers in the danger zone with the sand still running, or lose by running out of time and being lost, or running out of sand in the danger zone. Do you have what it takes to make it through the Quicksand? Well, that is Quicksand. What did you first think of Quicksand when we played it?
Me?
You.
I'm always daunted by real-time games, but this one was like, as soon as we started getting going, I was like, oh, we don't actually have to worry like super heavily about the time because you want to let them run for a little. So that was nice. Like it like was I don't even, right, what's the right word? It was a nice relief to see that happen, and you're like, oh, okay, it's not as much of a mad panic as I thought it was going to be. And
although we always set up for it to be a mad panic, and sometimes we flip too early, we're like, no, we gotta flip them back.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting, and you can go like really fast with it, but it's a lot of fun. It's got that level varying difficulty that you can like progress through, and the game feels pretty good for a real-time game.
Yeah, I first saw this game at PAX. We were walking by and I saw it, and I've heard of it before. I'm like, oh, I really want to try it, and we never got the chance to play it there. So when we got the chance to play it, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I was surprised by how much I liked it, because I didn't think I would like it as much as I did.
There you go.
But with that said, what are some of the reasons we should check out, or you should check out, Quicksand?
Well, we definitely mentioned a couple of them in our first impressions, but the fact that it's a cooperative game, I think, is very appealing to a lot of people. So if you're looking for a cooperative game, this is great. It also plays up to 7 players. So like, that's fantastic for a larger group of people that you want to have a little bit more interaction with, because it is a real-time game that is pretty fast-paced in the grand scheme of things. I think that it adds a lot of value to the table as a table presence, as a getting everybody together and like working together kind of thing. So for that reason, definitely worth checking out.
The timers are also different lengths.
Yeah.
There's a slow, medium, and fast timer, and there's over 21 different levels that you can play. And not only do the timers vary in each of the levels and the path vary, there's also additional rules that are thrown in some of the levels. Some of them you play in complete silence, so you can't say anything and you're just playing cards. Some of them there's little discard tokens that they kind of stop your sand timers in place and you have to flip them over. While others, there's also, you can play your cards outwards and everyone has to like tell each other what to play from their hand, which is very chaotic.
Yeah.
And I think there's even a few more of different rules that are added on to make the game spice it up a little bit more and make it a bit more difficult. But in theory, you can actually go through like a campaign-esque and go from level 1 to level 21 and see how well you do. And if you do manage to get all the timers to the very end in each of the games.
Yeah, that would be very impressive if you did it in like one run. Because sometimes it's just not in your favor, like you just end up drawing the wrong cards or anything like that. But that's what gets exciting about the game is there's not, although you still have a bit of control, there's still that lack of control that you get with the number of players that you're playing with. You maybe don't have a card that actually helps you at all, so you end up just like discarding one and then you have to figure out the whole situation again, and it's quite interesting.
And you have variability too, because you can play color or shape.
Yes.
But there is a variant where you get rid of one entire color or one entire shape.
What?
So at that point, you really have to just rely on one thing.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
So pretty wild. Quicksand.
Well, with those reasons out of the way, why do you think somebody might not want to check this one out?
Well, this being a cooperative game, there is a lot of pressure on each person. So sometimes when you look at your cards and you don't have something you want to play, and you kind of get stuck for a moment, you can really be a detriment to your team. So you really have to trust each other and really lean on each other. And if you don't like being pressured in a situation like that, this may not be the game for you.
Yeah, I think that also like leans into the fact that it is a real-time game, so you are like crunched for time when you are making those decisions. If you do get a little bit stressed out or like frozen in those situations, then definitely might not be worth checking out. And yeah, it does feel really bad when you're the reason that it does happen, so you kind of gotta weigh your odds there. And there's a lot of games out there, so if that's something that you try to avoid, Quicksand might not be for you.
Exactly.
Otherwise, I think this game is pretty light. It gives a vibe of like a more party style type game. So if you're looking for a bit more strategy and a longer term game, this is more of one of those ones you pull out maybe at the start of a game night or when you've got a larger crowd.
True. Or you could just play this game the whole night.
True.
Because there's so many different levels. So it really kind of caters to based on what you've heard about this game.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, what are our final thoughts of Quicksand, the real-time cooperative challenge?
I think that this game, like, looks scary because it says real time on it, but realistically, it's not as daunting as it seems. And for that reason, like, I think the expectations of the game were exceeded in my head, and I really enjoyed playing it.
I've recently been thinking that, because we had the question of how many cooperative games do we have?
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of go-to cooperative games that like you can quickly show people or get into. I feel like a lot of cooperative games that we play are either campaign games or bigger games. So this kind of fits that perfect niche of a quick cooperative game you can get warmed up with everybody. That's a little bit up from a party game. Because I feel like there's a lot of party games that are cooperative, but this one I feel like is a little bit higher than that. But it's still a lot of fun and there's a lot of laughs. I remember playing like the silence version. I thought we would do terrible, but we did phenomenally well.
Yeah.
There
was like giggles happening and everything too.
Just making meaningful eye contact. It was wonderful.
Make meaningful eye contact.
So I really look forward to playing through each of the levels. I think we've played through 4 or 5 already and tried some of the different versions because we keep introducing it.
In a larger group.
We keep introducing it to different people, so we have to start over. So we haven't quite progressed. So I'm excited to progress to some of those difficult levels and keep playing this game because I think it's a wonderful game.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, we can just play it separate or together if we really wanted to. You could technically play it solo.
You could.
But that's that's another point that I'll bring up that I was really impressed with, is that it's just a wide variety of like player range. So that's pretty nice to have on your shelf to be able to bring out when you do have like a different or an odd number of people at your table.
And that is Quicksand. Now for our question of the day today, what is your favorite real-time game?
Yes, please.
Is there a timer in it, or is it just like simultaneous action really fast? There's a lot of really cool ones out there, so we'd love to hear from you.
Exactly. And of course, if you liked this video, please give us that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you're new here, because we make weekly board game content where we talk about games like this.
Just like this.
Until next time, though, we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye!